Guys, welcome back to another podcast, Tycho Talks. This one's going to be a bit interesting. We're going to get quite political. A lot has happened over the last few months that we thought we might as well touch on it, share our thoughts.
Current events, correct?
Current events. Yep. So, obviously, we all know that a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, actually, there was an attempted assassination on former President of the United States, which is a big deal. Whatever you feel about him, your personal opinion on him is irrelevant. The fact that it happened is massive, and it's something that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
Then obviously Biden dropped out of the election. That was coming. We all knew that was going to happen eventually. Kamala is now the front runner for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And then we're going to touch on the opening ceremony for the Olympics, which was quite controversial for a number of reasons. But yeah, let's get into it. So Trump shooting, what were your thoughts when I think it was one of those moments where I will, for the rest of my life, remember where I was exactly when I found out. So it was straight after basketball training, and I went and checked my phone, and it was just like headlines everywhere, Trump shooting. And I was like, holy crap. Like someone's just tried to shoot.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
President Trump. But what were your thoughts?
Where were
you?
A couple of times. I think that's like his fourth or fifth assassination over the past 10, 15 years. So
Trump.
They're trying to kill him for a reason, yeah.
When was the last attempted assassination?
Oh, you could type up assassination by Donald Trump. They've tried to kill him all his life since he started.
I don't think there's been an attempted assassination like this.
Not like that, but there's been stuff in the past that have spilled out to the media that they were trying to assassinate him since he got into parliament and politics and all that. In doing so, like, imagine if he actually got shot. Like, I reckon there would have been a massive World War III outbreak if they shot him. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact of a person like that, like, getting shot in the head when he's doing a speech, you know? Because obviously he's trying to win the race of presidency in 2024. But, like imagine if he died. Like, I reckon, like, would it be here sitting today doing a podcast, or, like, would there be a massive...
I don't think it would.
Like,
I don't think we'd be in a World War III.
Don't know.
But there definitely would have been a lot of
riots. I reckon they would have
unrest in the United States for sure. Because it's a big deal to attempt to kill a president.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let alone a man who, for years, they have been creating into this martyr, and so his fan base, whether you like it or not, have been motivated to react. Because for years and years and years, they've been throwing lawsuits at him. They've been creating him into this martyr. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think that it would have been a really, really big deal if he was killed. I think there would have been... A lot of people saying no, it wouldn't have led to a civil war within the States. But I think that, America right now is so divided. I mean, they've been talking about a national divorce for a while. It's not going to happen, but a lot of people talk about it. Well, why don't we just split the blue states and the red states and have two separate countries within the states? And you have your laws for the blue states and you have your laws and policies for the red states.
Yeah.
Don't think that will happen, but honestly, if Trump had died, it would have been really bad. It would have been really nasty. I think that guns would have come out. Rednecks would have been shooting.
Exactly.
Furries. It would have been a bit crazy. But I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen the footage. I don't know if you've seen the footage. I personally think it was a miracle that he survived that. As in, the shooter, a lot of experts were talking about the shot that the shooter was taking, and they're saying 9 out of 10 times, the shot that he was taking from the angle that he was positioned in should have killed him. 9 out of 10 times. Like, you don't have to be a professional to be able to make that shot from where he was and the angle where he was shooting from. So if you see the footage, like, Trump literally turns his head just as... Like, you know how he does the head turn?
Yeah. No, because I think he was showing something, because there was a board up there.
Yeah, he was showing... Yeah.
It was like a millisecond, like not even a second, like not even half of a second, like that slight turn, and then like chopped his ear off. But I think the bullet went obviously past him and killed a dad.
It did, yeah.
And I think two people or injured one, I don't know, anyway.
Yeah, so killed a man behind him, which is really sad.
Yeah, actual bullets. But then, like, if you look at that, there's so many people that are saying all these conspiracies about the actual shooting itself. Like, I saw that those people actually, like, initiating the cops, like, look, there's a guy on the roof, 10 minutes prior to the actual shooting. And the cops were literally eyeing off this guy, and they knew that it was So like, first of all, why didn't they shoot the guy that was on the roof that they knew that it was obviously eyeing off Trump for 10 minutes? Second of all, after Trump got shot, he was like, hang on a minute, let me like put my fist up in the air so people like fight. So people were saying that it could have been plans and that Trump's done this to win more votes, to win the election. People are saying that, man.
I know people are saying that, but I'll tell you why that's really a stupid thing. Because number one, Trump had already won the election. Like, this has sealed it for him, but Trump was already ahead in the polls by miles. Like, Biden was not going to win that re-election,
I know that.
right?
But even in 2020, he was like that as well. But then
I know, but it wasn't as bad as it is now, because now Biden has 4 years of stats that are showing that he's pathetic and that he's run the country into the ground. So Trump was already ahead in the polls. He already had a lot of momentum behind him. Do I think that it was a failure on Secret Service? Yes. And when they actually went to question in, I don't know what they call it in America, but the House of Representatives or whatever equivalent to them, they questioned the lady who was in charge of the Secret Services in America. And, you know, they, both parties, both Democrats and Republicans were saying that it was a massive failure on the Secret Service's part. Because there were so many times where, well, number one, if it's an outdoor event, there shouldn't have been any point where a roof was empty. As in, like, every single roof that was showing that you could sit on the roof and see the stage, that should have been covered off.
Yeah,
and there were so many points where it's almost like it was a massive negligence on their end, where they didn't check everything properly. And crazy, so she was being questioned, and even the Democrats, it's not a political thing. They're all on the same side, but they're saying you need to resign straight away because for whatever reason, there was, you know, it was a massive error on their end in terms of protecting the president. Now, there are a lot of things that happened. So I know President Trump's team asked a number of times for extra security that day, and I'm pretty sure it was declined. If you see the video...
Oh, for that specific day, you're saying?
For that day.
Okay, well...
Not just for that day, for all events. All events they've been asking, and it keeps getting declined. If you see the video of the shooting, there's actually a lady behind President Trump, and she doesn't react at all. Have you seen that? I'm going to clip it because it's the craziest thing. She doesn't react, and then she gets her phone out and she starts filming.
Yes, exactly. There was one point that Trump said something, and everyone clapped, and then she was just like she just didn't really do anything, and then she started recording.
She started recording. That's sus.
And then there was another. I think there was another person. I think a guy with his glasses on and a hat, and so they've obviously zoomed up to both parties, the guy and the girl, and they're just acting really weird.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else act like they're actually there for Trump, whereas them they're just kind of secret spies or whatever it is. I don't know. So look. And if they were there, what were they doing if they were there? Were they sending codes to the shooter saying when to shoot? Like, who knows?
Honestly, no idea.
There's so many thoughts.
I don't think it was set up by Trump's team at all. I think that do they want to kill Trump? Probably, most likely, yes. Are they going to? 100% they want to take him out. They've tried everything. They've tried lawsuits that have failed over and over again. And all these people who talk about the lawsuits, go look at where they're at now. They're all being dropped like flies because they were pushed. It's not that it's fake, but they were pushed, and it was all corrupt, and it was done in a way that didn't follow proper procedure. Like, there was a lot of conflict of interest. There were judges that were, shouldn't have been judges. Like, it was all a massive propaganda hunt, right? Yeah. The other thing as well is BlackRock. Apparently, the shooter was actually in a BlackRock commercial.
No way.
Yeah, and that's...
How'd you find that?
They talk about it.
Holy...
And that's, for me, what I find really weird, that he was in a commercial by BlackRock. If you know anything about BlackRock, I wouldn't say that they're for Trump at all.
No way. They're against him.
100% against him.
120,000% against him. They're one of the biggest financial corporations in the world, or the biggest. And I think a Jewish family runs BlackRock.
I'm not sure.
I think they're a Jewish family. But they're solely against him. And the fact that you told me that, I actually didn't know that. Wow, that's crazy.
So, and they pulled that, as soon as someone had found it, they pulled it.
Holy crap.
They took it down. So, I think that it was just like some lone wolf who hated Trump and wanted to kill him? Probably not. I think that there are bigger forces that want to take him out, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And they're probably going to try again. I think it's a miracle that he survived. genuinely.
Yeah, and
he should have died that day. He should have died that day. And I think that when he survived and he did his speech at the, what do they call it?
Like 4 or 5 days after?
Yeah, the Republican convention. Like, I don't know what they actually call it.
Yep.
Might be called that. That was probably one of the most powerful speeches I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
His attitude really changed, and I think that he won a lot more votes after that.
Oh, 100%.
Like, he's won a lot more votes now. It's crazy because you now are seeing people like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, all these influencers who would never, ever post about someone like Trump in the past 4 years, or when Trump was president
at the time,
8 years ago.
Yeah.
They would never, ever post about him, and everyone's posting about him. Everybody.
Like courage, like amazing courage from this guy, and the fact that, yeah, exactly, like
they're literally endorsing him.
Yeah,
they're saying vote Trump.
I agree with that. Everyone's
saying that now.
I wouldn't say they're not saying vote Trump, but they're just encouraging him. They're speaking really highly of him.
No, they're literally saying vote Trump. So Jake Paul posted something the other day.
Oh, he had a documentary with podcast with Jake Paul and Logan. Sorry, Trump. Did you see that one? The podcast?
Yeah.
That was funny.
So it was Logan Paul and his Logan's mate.
Yeah. So Jake Paul and Logan, they did a podcast with Trump.
Yeah. So Jake Paul said we need Trump to knock out all these opponents on election day to save America from unnecessary wars. So he's being endorsed by all these influencers now, which
it's crazy. Who would have thought, huh? The music industry and all these like Hollywood pop stars and musicians and music stars and movie stars, like they're all against Trump. All of them are. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's so many people that sided for Kamala Harris, even Biden. Like I remember John Cena, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like he did all the commercials and documentaries with Joe Biden, saying like how they should re-elect Joe Biden into the presidential election. And like even Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these like famous actors.
You've done your research and you actually know, and you know Trump prior to when he said he was going to run for president. You'd understand that actually Trump was liked by everyone in Hollywood. Trump was liked by everybody. Oprah, everybody. Like black people, white people, Spanish people, everyone. So the fact that now people are starting to come back around to him, it doesn't surprise me because it was just a matter of time. There's only so many years you can run with a lie. Like the media can run with lies for only a certain amount of years, and then the truth is obviously going to come back out. So yeah, there are still people who are pushing the lies, and they'll always continue to do that. But I think slowly people are waking up to the fact that from 2016 to 2021, I think, when he was president, was it 2016? Yeah, 2016 to 2020, the media lied about him like non-stop. And people who have taken the time to do their research prior to that 2016 and then do their research in that 4 years where, as you mentioned before, they saw that, hey, Trump actually is the first president to not start any wars, the first president to not take income from the American people. He donated his income every single year. He's the first president where his net worth went down after being president, whereas every single other person's net worth went up. If you go back and you check Obama, the Clintons, Biden, their net worth increased in office.
Yeah, I know.
His net worth went down.
Yeah.
And look, you said you see yourself, and you can touch on this.
On that.
There you go.
Like they had the lowest black employment rates in the history of the country, which is massive.
Unemployment.
So unemployment, rates for African American people in the country. Yep. And it's a proven fact. You could type that up on Internet Safari, and even with the tax cut, like he had the largest tax reform package in history. More than 6 million Americans, workers received wages increases, bonuses, and increased benefits thanks to the tax cut that Trump implemented in 2016. That's huge. You know what I mean? And like the way I say it, like he's a multi-billionaire businessman, right? Rolling around with his Rolls Royces, Rolexes, whatever it is. He could be literally on an island in Greece on a yacht with his family, enjoying the rest of his retirement. But he knows how much bad there is out there. Like I'm not saying he's all good, right? But he's better than what America's had in the past 20 odd years, 100%, hands down. And the fact that he preaches Christ and Jesus and, he's a Christian and all that, and I'll touch on that as well later on. But yeah, like I feel like he doesn't have to be there as a president. Like he's in his late 70s. Like he's playing golf every week and like having a laugh. But at the same time, he wants to put himself out there to be the ruler of, of America, but let alone the world. Because, whatever happens in America kind of conflicts to the rest of the world. So I just feel like it's crazy how he's put himself out there and wants to be, president again.
Well, I don't think he wants it. I think a lot of people think that he wants the power, and they always say that he's similar to Hitler. I mean, Trump if you look at, if you listen to any interview when Trump was a lot younger, he used to always say, I would never run, but if I did, I'd do things very differently because we're selling this country away.
Yeah.
We are not prioritizing Americans. You know, the American dream is vanishing from our eyes, right? So Trump was always talking about how he would do things, if he ever ran, he would do things differently and he would apply what he did in business. I mean, whether you like him or not, he's a very successful business owner. He's a very smart man. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you hate him personally. That's a fact. It doesn't matter if you think that he got a hand, a hand from his father. A lot of people can be given millions of dollars and not duplicate that. He was given millions of dollars and he duplicated it to multi-millions, billions of dollars. So he's obviously successful in his own right. He built his empire, all right, with help, without help, whatever. And he's applied those same success principles to the States. And he, when he ran in 2016, he ran as a strong figure for Americans.
Yep.
Right? Like a lot of countries saw him as that. And that's why no country was willing to try and start a war because they were, whether they believed he was going to use his power or not, they were threatened by him in a sense.
Yeah, of course.
But he had power and he
had money and he had so many people like behind him. Like he had a franchise. He had like this massive monument of people like supporting him, with everything. Like when it comes to like business, money, hotels, sporting events, everything. Like even when you look at like the UFC and all these massive sporting events, Trump's always there. Like, everyone loves him from all around the world. Like doesn't matter what it is.
No, but I don't, that's not what I'm trying to say. I agree with you 100%, but I don't think that, the leader of North Korea cares about that.
Yeah, I know that.
Right, so I'm talking about like Trump and like if like his temperament, Trump as a human, he is a strong, resilient businessman.
Yeah.
And people around the world, leaders around the world know not to F around with him. Whereas you have someone like Biden or someone like Obama and nobody took him seriously. I mean, a lot of people took Obama seriously, but Obama was probably ripping off his own country, like selling his own country. But Biden, for example, I mean, if you think that Vladimir Putin or...
they don't have a conversation with him.
Bro, none of them would take him seriously. He's very weak. You've got to appear strong.
As a clone.
You have to appear strong as a leader of a free world, which America, is the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
America needs to be the strongest thing because if America falls, a lot of countries in the West are going to fall as well.
100%.
So,
and to touch on Joe Biden as well, there was a podcast, a Joe Rogan podcast. They were talking about Biden and how he's kind of formed and like how he obviously started in 2020 and obviously how he is now in 2024 and how he obviously, pulled out of the election. And they found a very strange image of Biden and how his demeanor changed, his height changed even, and even his face. Like there was a video of him walking out with his wife in 2020 and there's a video in 2024 when he walks out with her and he's like 3-4 inches taller. Like it's crazy. So like Joe Rogan's actually saying that he reckons that he's a clone. Like it's actually crazy. Like if you look at it, the Joe Rogan podcast or the recent video, the episode that he had with, I don't know, some guest, like there's so many conspiracies out there of like, even like the media coming out, like I think 2 weeks ago, CNN came out 2 weeks ago and said how Biden's fit to be president again. And then a week later, he pulls out because of health issues. Like how crazy is that? You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's up in there, but...
The whole clone thing, I don't know, like do I think that they have technology to be able to clone? 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Do I think Biden is a clone? Probably not. Do I think that he is deteriorating? Like that process of his deterioration is like accelerating like nothing we've ever seen before in front of our eyes? 100%. The guy has like massive health issues, whether it's dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, and we're just seeing him, and we're just seeing him deteriorate in front of our eyes.
Can't speak properly.
So I don't know how they put him as the front runner for so long, but obviously we know that they announced a couple of weeks ago that he dropped out. Now, what I thought was really weird though is the video that he did from the presidential office of him dropping out. Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't seen it, bro.
To me, we'll watch it. We'll watch it after.
How long is it? How long does it go for?
I'll see now. But that to me will look like AI. presidential.
But like the fact that Joe Rogan, such a big figure, talk about how like he reckons there's another celebrity like image like cloning him, like it's crazy. But yeah, that's just a whole another story.
Dropout speech, yeah, it's a whole another story. But
like it's just another
conspiracy. But this speech, but
breakthrough 5 times.
So it goes for about 3 minutes. Oh, so
I just want to show you
parting ways with American people. I think I did see it on TikTok.
I saw it on Instagram, but this looks like AI. Oh, where's the actual speech?
he's
Dude, oh, here it is. Full speech. Here it is.
Addressing the nation. And he's obviously in this chair behind in front of the American flag. In the office. Yeah, put it up a bit. Fast forward a bit. It's like see his talk.
Just look at his hands and everything.
Go more. Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
This ads are on YouTube.
That's crazy, bro. All right.
I revere this office.
What?
But I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think is more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union, it's not about me. It's about you.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Your families, your futures.
Just look at his hands. Like it looks like it's been doctored for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Look, you could obviously touch on that, but I want to touch on this video that Trump, he spoke at a campaign, and Trump said something that really concerned me. So he was just telling the supporters that if they vote for him, they won't have to vote ever again, like in the history. So just touch on this. It goes for 45 seconds. I just want to see your thoughts on it.
Family, get everyone you know and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time.
Watch.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm not Christian. I love you. Get out.
See what he said? I'm not Christian. Did you hear him say I'm not Christian?
Yeah, so?
You gotta get out and...
True, so. He preaches that he's Christian and he...
No, look, there's a difference between being Christian, but practicing Christian.
In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not gonna have to vote.
But the fact that he's saying, like, in 4 years you won't have to vote again...
I think that you're doing exactly what that Democrats do right now. Number one, you can't... Well, here's the thing, right? Like you asked my opinion.
If you vote... Yeah, no, of course. But if you vote now, in 4 years' time, you won't have to vote ever again. Like, I feel like it's a bit like...
So do you want my opinion?
Yeah, 100%. Go.
So you're taking a 45-second clip, and you're doing exactly what they do. You're taking a 45-second clip, and you're taking it on face value, when that can be interpreted in so many different ways. So my interpretation of that is he going to... He can't... I don't think you understand the American system. Like, he's not going to be able to just come in and change the democratic process like that. Yeah. He's not going to be able to do that. There are so many checks and balances in place. They're not going to allow him to do that. Now, that's what the Democrats do. They take a 45-second clip like that, and they scare people, and they say, he's gonna be a dictator. He's going to change the voting system. I think what he's trying to say is, like, we're going to get things on track where, yeah, there's still going to be an election, but it's not going to be as it's not going to be as essential as this. As in, we'll make sure that everything's okay. We're going to fix things and bring it back to how it was, and then... I mean, he can't run in 4 years anyway. So whoever runs after him, I don't think he's saying that they're going to take the...
Yeah, look, but...
Do you actually, Chris, believe that's what he means?
No, but even him say, look, I'm not Christian. Like the fact that... Yeah, but he said multiple times that he's a Christian. And then he said in that speech that he's not Christian.
I think there's a big difference...
That put me off.
Not really.
It did.
That doesn't put me off at all. I think that there's a big difference between being a practicing Christian, which I don't think he is, and acknowledging Christianity and protecting Christianity. Yeah, so, for example, Vivek Ramaswamy, who will probably run...
Oh, yeah, he's good.
He's amazing. He'll probably run in 4 years. He's quite young, but we might see him in the next election. He's not a Christian, but whenever he talks, he defends Christian rights. He defends Christianity. You know what I mean? I think Trump, a lot of people saying, oh, he's Christian, he's not Christian. That's irrelevant. The point is that he stands for protecting Christian rights, right? And his personal journey with God, that's got nothing to do with any of us. Like maybe after the shooting, that changed. I think that he acknowledges God, but that doesn't mean that he's a practicing Christian. I don't know if he goes to church every week. It doesn't. I don't know why in that moment he said, I'm not Christian. Maybe what he's trying to say is like, I wasn't before.
Yeah.
I'm not practicing.
This was after the shooting as well.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is like maybe he's saying...
There's a lot of things you could look at.
Like if I'm him and I'm not a practicing Christian, it's not bizarre for me to say I'm not Christian, but I will stand for your rights as Christians. Yeah. That's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
100%, I agree.
But I don't know. I'd like to see the full clip of that.
Yeah, it goes for 45 seconds, but...
To save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and...
He's just talking about how everyone should vote.
Yeah, I know, but do you actually... Like, you're doing exactly what the Democrats do. They take a small clip, 45 seconds, and then they put it out, they freak people out, and they say, he's saying that you're never going to have to vote again, which means that if you vote him in, but you're 45 seconds.
Yeah, I understand.
How long was that speech?
But that part didn't really scare me. The part that he said, even I'm not Christian. Because I could tell you, there's 10, 20 videos that I've seen him preaching that he's a Christian, and he's a proud Christian, and he's a proud believer of Jesus Christ. Regardless if he's baptized or not, the fact that he's come out and said that he's a proud Christian, and then he goes, I'm not Christian, even though I'm not Christian, that's like, then why say it? Why preach that you're Christian? You love being Christian. He's said it in multiple videos. But anyway, look, that's a whole nother. I
don't know why he said in that moment. He might. Yeah, maybe he clarified it after, but
that part kind of.
Do you know why I don't care if he's Christian or not?
But it's not really if I don't care. It's just he's preached that he's Christian, and he was a massive believer of Christianity and Jesus Christ, and now he's coming out saying, even though I'm not Christian, Christians vote for me.
I don't. But once again, I will never ever watch a 45-second clip ever. Because you don't know, I don't know what he said before that, I don't know what he said after that. Yeah, so I will never ever watch a 45-second clip and make a conclusion. Like that's why I can't give you an answer, because I need to see the entire clip. Yeah. And there's always going to be context to everything that anyone says. And I'm talking about Kamala, I'm talking about Biden, Obama, Trump, everyone. I will never just listen to a 45-second clip and then say, oh, he said this, so he means that. That's like, smart people don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of the whole Christian thing, once again, I don't think his personal belief system is none of my business. I think what's important, and for voters as well, is, are you going to defend our rights as Christians? That's what is probably the most important thing. Whether he is a Christian or not, tomorrow he may wake up and decide he is. The next day he might, I don't know, bro. That's his personal life. What's important, we're not voting for him, or Americans are not voting for Trump because he's a Christian. They're voting because he made promises to the American people that he's going to protect the church, protect this, protect the Constitution, whatever. You know what I mean?
Protect the country, yeah.
Protect the country, you know. But anyway, Biden dropping out, have we touched on that? We kind of saw it coming. What do you think of Kamala?
About his health and all that. I feel like she's another puppet, like Obama. Like, she's another, like, you know, oh, well, she's the first girl to not run for president, but they reckon that people reckon that she's going to win it. That's what people reckon.
I don't know.
That's what they think. They're getting all these celebrities again coming out, singing songs about her, like, you know.
They do that all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Every election.
Look, she's doing all right. Like, even the odds, like, like I've seen the odds and the polls and all that. She's not far off, bro. Even though she's come in so late. So, look, who knows, man? Who knows? We'll see what happens. In November, I think?
November, yeah. So I think she's actually got a worse chance of winning than Biden.
Wow.
Because Biden, like Kamala Harris, if you know anything about her history, she's like wild. She is wild in terms of her politics. Like, she's very, very progressive. And the reason that they had Biden come in is because Biden's a Democrat, but he's not as progressive as someone like Kamala.
Yeah, of course, he's not.
And so when you're looking, if you think about your swing voter, you've got people who are diehard Trump voters. No matter what, Trump could do anything and they'll vote for him.
Exactly.
And there are people who are diehard Democratic voters, and no matter what happens, they'll vote for the Democratic nominee.
Yep.
And then you've got your centric, the people in the middle. And right now, I think Trump is winning the people in the middle. And then you've got your swing voter, which you just don't know which way they're going to go.
Yeah.
Someone like Kamala is really if I'm a swing voter, if I'm in the middle, I am more likely to vote for a Trump than a Kamala.
100%.
I'm more likely to vote for a Biden than a Kamala. Like Kamala Harris, her views on things are very progressive.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know how they're spinning it though. Like I don't know how they.
Look, when I live in
they're
America,
presenting
but
it.
like it's crazy. But look, in saying that, we both hope Trump wins.
Yeah, I
for
think
a lot of
that
things,
I
and for the
think
past,
that he'll win.
the stats show, guys. Like if you look it up, you don't have to listen to these 45-second clips and all this CNN and social media news outlets and all that. Like he's done really, really well. Like in that 4 year span that he was in, he did probably I don't think no other president did in that 4 year time. With no civil wars, unemployment rates, tax cuts, etc., etc. It goes on. So look, really good businessman, smart bloke, very smart bloke. But like he's a family, he's got grandchildren. Like he's just a normal.
Well, one thing I
Like,
want to touch on this actually because this is really important, and then we'll go to the Last Supper.
Yeah, done.
The Olympic thing. What some people don't really take into consideration is his family. Now, I don't know about you, but when you have children like his children and grandchildren like his grandchildren, who, number one, they're all very successful in their own right. They look like beautiful people.
Very intelligent.
They're very intelligent, and the way that they speak about him, is incredible.
Yeah, it's
like
very
when you
hard.
have people like that who speak about your character and they're your own children and they see you when nobody else sees you, that's a big deal.
Yeah, behind
And the
behind
fact
all
that they
closed doors,
exactly
you're very right.
the fact that they support him and
Well,
they speak so highly of him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, obviously they're going to do it. They're his children. It's like, no, if anything, sometimes the opposite.
Yeah.
Sometimes your children will actually,
Like come
To
out
do
and
the-
be
come out and do the
"My
opposite."
dad, this is my true dad. This is my true grandfather.
Yeah,
Like
if
he's
it was
not-
actually a bad
he's not
person,
as- he's
yeah.
not as you people like see me is. He's this. He's that. It's like you're right.
And same as his grandchildren. I mean, like one of his granddaughters did a speech at the
saw that.
at the Republican convention, and it was very powerful because
She was amazing.
she was great.
And she was 18 after 17.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how
she's
she was.
17. She's really young.
But she
wow.
was like that speech was amazing because it just goes to show, like, yeah, we're seeing him in one lens, but you need to understand that there's so much more to him. Like he is a
said.
grandfather.
Well said. Yeah, of course, 100%.
He is a father, and he's raised really beautiful children. And believe it or not, that's actually one thing that people cannot. What's the word? Like, don't come at me on that because even Hillary Clinton said it in one of the debates a number of years ago, when she was asked, like, what's one thing you like about President Trump? She actually mentioned his children. She said the way that he's raised his children, I respect that about President Trump. So that's a big thing that a lot of people forget. I think that goes to show the type of man that he is and the type of, the heart that he has.
And the character he has.
And the
100%.
character that he has, for sure. But anyway, let's talk
agree.
about the Olympic opening because that was a bit wild.
Yeah, man.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't know where to start, honestly.
I haven't actually seen it, to be honest.
What, you haven't seen the photo?
I've seen the photo. I havenn't seen the video.
You don't really need to. Like,
don't wanna see
the video's
it.
even worse. But like, there's a 14-year-old girl there. There's these transgenders with their private parts out. Like, it's filthy.
Transgender or drag? Because they're both very different things.
Oh well, transgender, drags, whatever you want to call it. Well, they're obviously transgender because they're dressing up as girls and they're males, so they're trans.
It's different, but... So I'm assuming they're drag.
They're drags, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the drag queens dressing in woman type clothes. Yeah, just very prerogative and then you see the Papa Smurf, the blue guy coming out.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's like if you guess what, like a minute.
I mean, I haven't seen the video. I think it was enough for me to see the photo, but
Yeah, exactly.
I think...
It's just disgusting of what the world's come to, man. And they're trying to you can see they're trying to push it out there to the public. And like the Olympics, everyone watches the opening ceremony. So they know that's
true.
That's kind of the main point of getting, the information out there so people can see. But I'm surprised of how many people have actually backlashed it. And the Olympics have actually apologized, which is, I knew it was always going to happen, but it shouldn't happen in the first place. It's disgusting.
Well, I don't know. For me, because once again, I want to separate two things, okay? I want to separate the agenda they're trying to push away from people who are gay, trans,
Yep.
whatever. I think, believe it or not, they're two separate things. And I think one thing that the agenda has done that has been very harmful to people who do fall in that category is that they've painted them in a brush of crazy, they want to pedophiles, like they want to come after your kids, that type of thing, when some people just want to live their lives privately and love who they want to love, okay? For me, the biggest red flag, or the thing that I thought was really disgusting, is the fact that they've taken a painting that is one of the most iconic paintings in history, The Last Supper, which is obviously a Christian painting that depicts like a number of things. Like this was literally the Last Supper before Jesus was died on the cross, before he was betrayed and crucified.
Yeah.
And to me, what I didn't like about this was the fact that they mocked something like that. And it was very, it was blasphemy in its finest form, right? They've taken something like the Last Supper and they've made it into some joke. Like they're trying to, I don't know what the point was, but they've got like drag queens and all this stuff. Like, well, I don't know what the point, like what are you trying to do? Are you trying to mock Christianity? Are you trying to mock Jesus?
See the guy on the bowl?
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know what that's. See, it's like the supper, like they lift it up, and like here's the food. Like, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But
Yeah.
like,
Anyway.
so I don't know. For me, like
the blue smooth.
if you take away all the noise, the loud noise, I think it really comes down to the fact that they've taken a historical moment, the Last Supper, which is a Christian thing,
It's a religion. It's a whole. Yeah,
and they've mocked it.
it's not good. It's just kind of
So
weird,
to me, that's what's really disgusting. Like they've mocked it, and you know, I don't know why they don't do this to any other religion. It's always Christians that they do this to. If this was an Islamic leader that they mocked, forget about it.
Yeah.
There'd be beheadings. I swear there'd be so much chaos. It's not even funny.
Yeah, everyone can agree with that.
So that's what I don't like about the whole thing. And I just don't understand. The other thing that I don't like is you're right. I mean, it's everybody is sitting there at home watching the opening ceremony for the Olympics. And you've got kids. Like, do I think kids need to see this crap? No way. Kids don't need to see this.
But the kids are so oblivious to it. That's the thing. But like, you know, the fact that they're kind of, you know, just picturing it that like, oh, look, it's on the Olympics. It's okay for guys to dress up as girls. You know what I mean? And for them to mock a religion, even like, you know, if they understand like the whole image of it, like they're just trying to normalize it into society. Like it's crazy. Even like how the world's evolved, like over the past 5-6 years, even in the schooling systems, and you go out and you see so many more people out there. Like, mate, like be you. I understand that. Like, just do it in your own time. Like, you don't have to be so out there and so vocal about it. Like, mate, no one cares. You're literally 2% of the world population. They got
well, that's what I meant before. That's what I meant before. Like, privately do it, whatever you got to do.
Pisses me off, man.
But obviously, if they're pushing, and honestly, I reckon a lot of people part of the LGBT would actually agree with what we're saying. A lot won't, and a lot will agree, because there's a difference between living your life and then pushing the agenda on children and pushing it on society and forcing society to comply with whatever it is that you want. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, that's the second part. I think the most significant thing is that they've taken something, they've taken Christianity and they've mocked it on a world stage. And it's not just that they've mocked Christianity, they've taken the Last Supper, where Jesus is literally with his disciples and he's about to get betrayed.
And yeah, they're enjoying their Last Supper all together as a family, as friends, you know, as rulers of the world. And yeah, exactly. Like, they're mocking that whole image of a whole religion, which is majority of the population of the world. I assume it is. So yeah, the fact that I witnessed that, like, I'm not surprised.
Did you watch it?
No, like after.
live?
Like, I'm not surprised, obviously, witnessing it in 2024, but like the fact that it was on the Olympics, like, that surprised me.
I'm surprised that they did the Last Supper.
And then even like there was videos of like they were performing like there was these red things like with snakes, and like it was so demonic, man. The whole ceremony was demonic.
Honestly, my opinion, like, even if they came out and they did a drag show,
Demonic.
for the opening.
Demonic. Yep.
If they came out and did a drag show for the opening, and it had nothing to do with the Last Supper, I would have thought it was real. I would have thought, hey, that's really bizarre. Like, what you're hosting the Olympics. You want to show your countries. You want to show something amazing. Like, if you look at all the past ones, like, it's like fire and, like, you know, shooting arrows in the sky and fireworks and all this kind of stuff. I would have thought it's bizarre, but I wouldn't think it was that as bad as the Last Supper. But the fact that they've actually taken a Christian moment and mocked it on a world stage, that is what annoys me. And that's what's disgusting.
And like, I don't know what to say. Like literally, like it's disgusting. And like the LGBTQT 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to call them, like shame on them, man. Because honestly, like they're trying to push this agenda, and one big part of it, I feel like, is pedophilia. I'm telling you, like it's crazy. All these unisex toilets and all that. Like that's just one explanation. I could come up with 20,000. Like there's so much bad blood like spilling out to not only us but just the children of the modern world, man. Like, and I feel like obviously I want to have kids and all that. Like it's part of life. You want to have a family and have kids and all that. But it's really sad that we're bringing our kids to this current world that we're living in. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And I don't see it getting better. If people don't wake up and stand for their rights, and even if at school, like I get parents telling me that, like parents that are teachers, like I got one of my best mates. I've known him for 5 years. His mum's a teacher. She's been a teacher for over 30 years. She literally had to drop out of being a teacher because of all this madness. Like she literally cries every day after school, and she can't be a teacher anymore. She can't, because she literally cannot even say, like, girls over here, she can't say it because there's kids that are 6, 7 years old going up to and saying, "Hi, I don't identify as a she. I identify as this." A 7-year-old girl going up to and saying that, like, so it's blown my mind how the world's come to.
It's pretty crazy.
But the parents are allowing it, man. Like it's crazy.
I think that
I
think the pendulum will swing. It always does. So I don't think it's going to.
At the moment, it's not getting better. That's what I'm trying to say.
At the moment, it's not getting better, but I think that if you ask the silent majority, a lot of people will tend to agree with this. You know what's happening. It's quite. None of it makes sense. A lot of it contradicts each other. You know, women's playing in men's sport, like people. Men's playing in women's sport. People are looking at that and being like, that is ridiculous. Like, how does that make any sense? So look, I think we're being a bit dramatic in terms of how bad it is. Like, it's bad, but I don't think that society is going to let it play out like that, right?
Yeah.
But then once again, it depends. It depends on a number of things. Like, if you're a parent, you've got to obviously do your best to parent your children and protect them from it. Because children are the most, like, it makes sense why they go for children.
And they are.
They're the most naive.
Majority are.
Vulnerable.
Of course.
The most vulnerable
and that's
part of the
why
population.
they target them.
So I don't think that I think that you just have to be intentional about protecting your children. I don't think it's going to be like the end of the world type of thing. I think the pendulum will swing. And I think that there are a lot of people out there who tend to agree. And eventually, and look, and if Trump wins, a lot of this is going to quiet down a bit more as well.
Yeah, he will.
But you're right.
We'll see what happens, man.
But I mean, you talk about the LGBT. It's got nothing to do with the LGBT. The LGBT is a vehicle that they're using to push this.
Oh, if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be pushing it as much.
But but do you know what I'm trying to say?
They're behind everything with all these rainbow flags, and they got like
but
I think they've got about 5, 6 flags with different genders and
So I think
it's crazy.
So there's a difference between the LGBT and the agenda of the LGBT. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, go on.
So there are people who are gay, lesbian, trans, who, like, by default, they're LGBT.
Yep.
But they're not for the agenda. So there are people who've taken the agenda, and it's not people in the LGBT. It's people who, like, if we talk about BlackRock, for example, there are these massive, massive corporations who understand what needs to happen to control the world.
Yeah.
And they're using the LGBT as a vehicle to push their agenda.
Yeah.
Right? They're using that.
Yep.
So, yeah, a majority of people like the progressive far left who are in the LGBTQWS, whatever it is, they're passive to it, like they're letting it happen.
Yeah.
But it's a bit bigger than that. It's not a couple of gay people who are...
No, I've never said that. I just feel like the whole agenda behind it's bullshit.
Oh, yeah, the agenda. But what I'm trying to say is you need to dissociate, because you're gonna piss off a lot of people. You need to dissociate the agenda from the people.
Understand.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But I was good to get to that point. Like, I got like gay cousins and family members. Like,
yeah. So what do they think?
They're gay, but like the LGBTQ, like they don't believe in it. It's just a whole other conspiracy, propaganda, agenda, bullshit thing.
Exactly.
So the fact that they have this LGBTQ system and community to help all these other people out, like you're gay, you're lesbian. That's it. Like, live your life, man. Be as it is. You don't have to come up with all these rainbow flags. And
no, but that's my point. Like, that's my point. That's
what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, I love my gay cousins. Like, they're lovely people. They're exactly like me. But They're just respectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
all it is.
That's what I mean by the agenda. It's got nothing to do with like individuals who identify as whatever. It's a bit bigger than that. You know what I mean? So I think that's important to note. But yeah, I think.
But you can agree that the people that run the LGBTQ, whatever it's called, the
agenda,
they're corrupt.
100%, 100%. The agenda's satanic, 100%. There's no debating about that, you know. But I just think that it's dangerous to put people in one category.
No.
Like, for example, like your cousins who are gay, you can't just throw them in and be like,
I would never do that.
But you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's the only point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's been gays and lesbians for 100 years, you know what I mean? If they've come out or not, regardless. It's just, in this 2000th century, 20th century, there's been this new agenda all of a sudden. It's LGBTQ, 1, 2, 3, whatever, 4, 5, 6, you know, X, 5, Z, whatever it is. That's, you know, trying to help more people to put into all these schooling systems, sports and all that. Like, all right, come out gay, come out lesbian, like, you know, fantastic. It's good for your mental health to come out and to get that pressure off your shoulders. And, you know, your family should support you. But then you got all these people, like, trying to implement it to, like, 6, 7-year-old kids and saying, look,
yeah, that's different.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of LGBTQ. Like, as born, like,
I agree with you.
You know, I got a boy, you know, but no, he can choose his gender at his date of birth. Like, mate, he's not even born yet, and you're deciding the kid to choose his gender. But that's the whole point behind this LGBTQ. They're allowing it to happen.
Yeah, I know. I've never disagreed with that. I agree. I think it was just important to note the differences.
Touch on it,
But yeah, I mean, they're the main three things that have happened recently. Yeah, a bit of a political podcast, but any last words?
No, man. All good.